So I want to do a little video on my son's snake, Diffy. She's called Diffy because she's a little different to the other snakes. I'm not sure if you can notice, but she has got something called a shark jaw, which means that she's got a physical deformity, obviously. When she's about 4 years old, she's a cinnamon pied, so she has these beautiful, lovely spots, these incredible markings on her. And I just love them. They're so gorgeous. She's such a scrummy girl. And so she's 4 years old, and we got her from Paul at New Forest Morphs. Now, a lot of breeders would have looked at her with her shark jaw and unfortunately made the decision that because she wasn't perfect, would have maybe euthanized her, which just isn't really fair. Fortunately, Paul looked at Diffy, saw that she had this beautiful little soul, and as he bred her, saw that it was his responsibility to make sure that she was okay. So they put him and his son Jared put a lot of work into her. They assist fed her. They brought her on, and when we went there, she was introduced to my son, and Paul noticed that they had this amazing bond straight away and actually gave her to my son. Now, she is, temperament-wise, she's gone from being an assist-fed snake to one of my most voracious feeders. She's got a wonderful personality. She's always ready and waiting for cuddles if my son's had a bad day. And she's become a real little friend to him and to all of us, really. She's on 30 grams because of her jaw. So, you know, she's now taking 2 of those. But it's 30 a pop really for her, just to make sure that she gets it down. We do take a little bit longer feeding her. We have to make sure that she hits the rat bang on the nose, otherwise she may drop it and you have to represent. But she's an amazing feeder. She definitely wants to grow, and she's just kind and loving and calm and just such a beautiful snake. And it really kind of breaks my heart to think that she, you know, if it was anyone else, not saying everyone's like this, but there are breeders out there that would have looked at her imperfections and put her down. And I think it's quite sad because it makes me think that, you know, a lot of us may have lost sight of why we got in. Well, not a lot of us, but you know, some of those people may have lost sight of why they got into this in the first place. You know, like, why did you get your first snake? What drew you to them? It was that love, it was that passion. And I think that love and that passion always needs to be remembered as at the foundations, because let's face it, nobody starts off breeding going, I'm going to make a ton of money, because unless you have got seriously stacked genetics, that just isn't the case. But yeah, I think, you know, what we've learned from Diffy is we've learned about compassion, empathy, patience, and I think that's something that a lot of us have forgotten along the way. So yeah, I just wanted to do a little video and just sort of bring a bit of attention to Diffy and her unique qualities, but to sort of raise the point that just because she's got a disability doesn't make her any less of a beautiful snake. I mean, obviously we won't be breeding with her because we don't want to risk that being passed on, but she's just gorgeous. And I think as breeders we have a responsibility that if we're breeding our snakes and we're bringing in creating new life from our snakes, we have a responsibility to then nurture and look after those new lives. And it's just part and parcel. And I think, to be honest with you, she's probably one of my favourites, just because she's incredible. And she's just so, you know, funny for a ball python, she's just so ballsy as well. You know, like she took a rat out of her enclosure and just sat there eating it on the sofa while the TV was on next to me, whereas others may have maybe hid. But she's just amazing. So my little spotlight, my little solo spotlight tonight is on Diffy, because I think she deserves nothing less. So I was going to show you feeding Diffy, but the second I opened the lid, she grabbed the rat. So yeah, So unfortunately I can't finish that one. But yeah, like I said, she's a brilliant feeder. She's a wonderful girl, and I really hope that this video has given a little insight into the wondrous beauty that can be found within some disabled snakes, and maybe hopefully encourage some of you not to write them off too quickly, because who knows, they may surprise you.